Hello everyone, welcome to my dojo. I think you're interested in Formula One that you clicked on the video. Either you have seen the memes, or you have seen the news, or there's a race in your city or in your country, and you're interested to know more about Formula One. It can be general information or the memes you want to know both. So in this video, I'm going to cover both of the topics, and also I'm going to go over some technical terms and other things, and at the end of the video also I will give some terms and some races that you really are not supposed to know to enjoy the Formula One. But at the end of the video I will also tell you about those things. So if you don't want to know about those things and you want to just get the general information, you can skip the end of the video, and I would be thankful if you like and subscribe.
Formula One. Everything you need to know about it. From the memes to the cars, to the people, to everything. We have the race. Cars going around weird shapes. Some people say it's not like that, but it definitely is. Just look at the calendar. Just look at it. From the 24 races, most of them are the weirdest shapes I have ever seen in my life. Like, what is even Japan? You tell me. We have cars. Cars. Cars are different than your normal cars. They're open wheel cars. They are faster. Probably not in a straight line. They're not faster than a Bugatti, but in a race, they are faster than any car produced by any company ever. And they are engineered in the most complicated ways. They have the most aerodynamic body between every car, and they also have great motors. They used to have V10s, V8s, and also before that V12s, but now they have V6 combustion engines with an electric support. The electric engine makes the Formula One car like a hybrid, but like a super hybrid car, which uses the both fuel and electricity to be faster, be more efficient, and also you can store the energy by braking and other actions you do with the car. Formula One, as I said, I think is the pinnacle of motorsport, and maybe the pinnacle of sport in general, in my opinion. As I said, we have the fastest and the most nimble and agile cars on the planet. You can see, even by the shape of the cars, they are scary. If a Red Bull is coming behind you, you're probably gonna shit your pants. Some engineers, at least some mechanical engineers, it's more difficult to make a Formula One car than to make a spaceship. It's not just about, the engineering and the math. It's also about the materials you use, the way it has to be very, very light. The Formula One cars, although they are big, they have to be very light. And also the fuel has a lot of weight, so they have to make a car to be as light as possible. We have Adrian Newey, probably the best engineer of Formula One ever. This is crazy expensive sport, getting into it. It's not as expensive as some people think, but still is very expensive to even get into Formula One. And the cars, the teams, they have crazy amounts of budgets. They have 250 mil budget to produce 4 cars. Sometimes they produce more, but it's usually around 4 cars for each year. And the costs of the cars are around 65, 70 million per car. Red Bull used to be a sponsor. Now Red Bull is a team. Red Bull, for the past, I think 10, 12 years has been a team, and they have been crushing it. They have been getting championship after championship. If Hamilton doesn't get it, it's either Vettel or Verstappen. So they make the best cars right now, and also I should mention that they make these cars with the help of Adrian, so that's a big help. And probably the slowest car on the grid belongs to Alpine. Although they don't have the worst drivers, I will talk about them later, but their car is pretty bad. Their car is overweight. Their car has the slowest engine. Although the engines must be very close to each other, but they have the slowest among other cars, and the worst steering and the worst aerodynamic, like everything the worst. We have different teams. We have 10 teams. each have two drivers and one reserve driver. That makes up 20 drivers. We have Red Bull. Red Bull, Max Verstappen, and Sergio Perez. They are the best team probably for the last 3 years. They have been the best team, and they've been getting every championship and usually most of the podiums. They also broke a lot of records with Max. We have Ferrari. Ferrari probably has the worst strategies among all the contestants. You know, maybe you think it's Alpine or Kicksauber. They don't have the best cars or the best pit stops, which I will explain, but at least they have a better strategy. Ferrari has the best everything in its hands, but they still have a bad strategy. And McLaren, they're doing everything right. They're doing everything as best as they can, but somehow they don't win. And Mercedes revolves around Toto and his perspective on other things, and they are obsessed with Max. They don't focus on their cars to make their drivers drive better. They focus on other drivers from other teams to take. Aston Martin, they make the second best cars, I would say, and Alonso is really taking out everything from the car, and they also have Lance. Lance not doing the best job. We have RB Visa. It's Red Bull, but Visa and Cash App also support the team and control the team. It's basically Red Bull. You know, they have the same engine, I think, maybe a bit different, but they have a very similar engine from Honda, and they don't have any luck. They always crash due to some problems or someone else crashing into them, and they don't have the best of the cars, because I think they wanted to make the car a bit different than the Red Bull, so they don't have the best car because they changed some aspects of it. We have Haas, they cannot get anything right. Sometimes you think that they got everything right. The car is not overweight, they have a good engine, they have a good aerodynamic, they have a good driver, but they still don't get into P10. We have Williams, it's Mercedes, but without Toto, and they have everything one step behind Mercedes, and Mercedes is not doing a great job. So that shows what they are, why they are below RB. We have Alpine, like Alpine. All other names are cool, McLaren, Mercedes, even Williams. But then you got Alpine. It sounds slow. They have the slowest car, they have the heaviest car, they have the worst strategy. I think maybe not worse than Ferrari, but they still have a very bad strategy. They have bad pit stops, not as bad as Kicksauber, but they have bad pit stops. But the thing is, all the teams, they have something very bad. Other than Red Bull that is getting everything right, other teams have something bad. They have some wrong aspect, but Alpine has all of the wrong aspects in one team. Then we have Kicksauber. In 2026, it will change to Audi because Audi bought the company, bought Kicksauber, and they have the longest pit stops by a huge difference. The longest pit stop used to belong to RB with 5 seconds. Now it belongs to Kicksauber with 55 seconds. And the last race in China, it took them so long that only their pit stops in China will be more than Red Bull's 2023 and 2024 pit stops combined. That makes a lot of difference in a race. Usually in a race, milliseconds are very important. Just minutes are very important. And Kicksauber is somehow ruining their drivers. We have rules and general information you need to know. We have tires and pit stop. Pit stop, as most of you have seen in the Cars movie, in the movies, or even on the news, that they change the tires and they try to do it as fast as they can. But it's not just the tires. If the car has a damage or a small damage that they can change or repair very fast, they will do it. But other than that, they will just try to change the tires as fast as they can. In each race, every driver has to use two different tires, from soft, medium, hard. Between these three categories, they have to use one. They have to use one at least in a season, but that's just crazy information. I don't want to talk about that. But in each race, they have to use two of them: soft, medium, soft, hard, hard, medium, hard, super soft. You have to change between these. And usually, one of the strategies is which tire to put and when to change the tire, which gets us to the second point: strategies and DRS. You have probably heard about DRS. A lot of sport cars also have DRS. So, DRS is the drag reduction system. I will get to it. Strategies are when to change the tires, which tires to use, fuel management, how much fuel you burn, how much you mix your fuel with oxygen, and all these information are usually controlled by the team, not by the driver, by the team, and they tell the driver what is the best strategy. We have the DRS, the drag reduction system. Drag is something that most of the cars produce, and if you have a spoiler, an angled spoiler, you will have more drag. More drag means that you can go faster in turns, you can turn better, you have more grip, but it also reduces your speed in a straight line where you can just freely accelerate. So when you can just go as fast as you can, the drag will slow you down. So they have the DRS, and the FIA, the organization that controls Formula One, usually gives the drivers the allowance to use DRS. So they gave the team the allowance. The team communicates with the driver. They have a radio system that they communicate with each other, and through the radio system, they say you are given the DRS. So the driver is allowed to use the DRS if they are given, and only in DRS zone, not before or after it. Only in DRS zones, and each race usually has one or two DRS zones. We have flags and points. We have the yellow flag, that means slow down, danger on the road. We have double yellow, it means that the danger is probably a bigger danger, but the race is still going on. Watch out, slow down. Red means there is a bad, huge incident. Everyone must get behind the safety car, and here is where you probably see the car swirling and, going like a snake to keep the tires and the brakes warm. The reason they do that, because when you have a warm tire, it means the outer layer of the tire is melting, which can give you more grip. And when the brakes are hot, because they are ceramic brakes, they will function better. So keeping the temperature hot is very important. That this is the reason they swirl when they are going slowly. And usually the incidents are caused by Lance or George Russell. Happens a lot. We'll get to it in the driver section. We have black right after white. It's not the checkered flag, it's a black flag and a white flag. That means you're disqualified. You're out of the race, you did something wrong, you damaged someone, or you did something dirty there to play, so you're out of the race, you're disqualified from this specific race. We have blue. Blue means safe to race. Although I think it used to be green way before, but now it's blue. It means safe to race. You can race again. We have the checkered flag, which means the race is over. And usually they show it in front of the first person, which means you won the race is over. And other people also follow that the race is, over. We have penalties. When four wheels is out of the track, it's either a 3 or 5 second penalty. It used to be 1 or 3 second, but in 2024 and late 2023 season, we have seen them to be a bit longer, usually 3 to 5 seconds. We have when you crash into someone, if they're out of the race, if it's a wheel kiss or a wheel-to-wheel combat, usually you won't get any penalty. But if you crash and put someone out of the race, it's usually a 10-second and point penalty. You get negative points. We have illegal overtakes and DRS. We are not given the DRS, or When you are not in a DRS zone and you use DRS, you're given a penalty. And when you overtake someone, which you are not allowed, sometimes they tell you. Normally you are allowed, but sometimes the team tells you that this overtake is illegal. Why is that? Because it usually can cause danger to other drivers. So you're prohibited from overtaking, and if you do, you will be given a 5 to 10 second penalty. And Akan, 10-second penalty. Every race, for some reason, he gets a 10-second penalty. Even if he is not involved in the accident, he is getting the 10-second penalty.
His mirrors and he rolled too far.
Later.
To the right-hand side behind the white line.
Okay, so the penalty was for being out of position in the grid box at the start of the race.
Later.
Thought against it, because guess what? He's got another effort with DRS coming his way. Esteban Ocon has got a 10-second time penalty for serving his...
We have the drivers. We have Max. You have probably heard his anthem, you know, do 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 do, this song. And you have probably heard the Dutch national anthem if you watch Formula One. So he is the most talented, the dominant, and the most record breaker driver on the grid. But he has a pretty traumatic childhood. His father is very strict, Jos Verstappen. He was also a Formula One driver, but you know, the stories of leaving him in a gas station because he lost a karting match. So he looks like Sid from Ice Age. It's some photos, kind of. And his girlfriend looks alike. They're lookalikes, just basically doppelgangers. If you put a wig on Max, you will have Kelly. The only thing he thinks about is racing. There's some interviews, you know, asking drivers that what would they do if they were not Formula One drivers, and all of them answer different things, and Max is like, I don't know, MotoGP or something related to racing. He just thinks about racing. And, you know, the most important achievement of his life is probably winning a Grand Prix before his driver's license. At 18 years of age. We have Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion, very handsome. Just like, I think, the most handsome driver maybe ever. He's pretty unlucky. He has very bad luck with the cars and also with everything around the car. It's probably better for him to retire now, focus on different things that he wants to do. You know, I know that he wants to produce music and he wants to, you know, rap and sing. I think it's better to focus on those things than racing. And he's scared of onions. I don't know the reason. He thinks they're dirty, they are smelly, and he's scared of them. And he is also known as the Star Boy. We have the midfielders, the good drivers that usually are driving in the middle. Sometimes they get to the top, sometimes they get to the back, but usually they are in the middle. We have Charles. His problem is Ferrari. They managed to ruin him in some way.
I am stupid. I am stupid. I switch off everything.
Daniel, bad luck in car. He is in RB team. He has a pretty bad luck and also pretty bad car. We have Checo, Red Bull, not competitive enough. He is not willing to put up his best work. Probably because he has a family, he doesn't want to risk, you know, his safety for the race. But he is not competitive as some of the other drivers. We have Hulkenberg, the German race driver.
Nico Hülkenberg.
He has a bad car. He is in Haas. He has a bad car, bad luck, and he doesn't take a lot of risks. He is moving to Audi for the 2025 and 2026 season, so we might see a change in the Audi car. We have Oscar Piastri. He is a McLaren driver and he lacks experience. He is very young. I think he can have a better chance to become a better driver, but all depends on him. We have George Russell, problem with turning. Turn 1, 5, and 2. He has had the most crashes in these turns. We have Yuki, RB. Although I forgot to say that Russell is in Mercedes. We have Yuki, again RB. He's the shortest driver I think ever. He's always angry. I fumbled that word. Always angry. He's always yelling. It doesn't matter if it's his fault or someone else's fault or the car's fault. He's always just yelling and always mad. I think that's one of his problems. No jokes. I think that's really one of his problems because he cannot think rationally when he's that angry. And we have Lando McLaren. He can't win. He tries so hard. He gets so close. P2, P3, but he cannot win. P also means position in Formula One. Position 1, 2, 3. We have Carlos Sainz. Everyone loves him. He's the most loved driver on the grid, I think, right now. He's known as the smooth operator because of his obsession with the song Smooth Operator.
Run! Come on! Tom, do you know what that was? That was a smooth operator! Smooth operation!
And after Ferrari informed him that he will be replaced by Lewis Hamilton, he just activated turbo mode. Every race that Max doesn't win, he wins. And he has been unemployed since 2023. We have Fernando Alonso, the rookie. The reason they call Fernando Alonso the rookie is because he left Formula One and started racing in other races, and then he came back last year to Formula One. So he is the rookie. You know, you can consider him a rookie. He's more active on social media than anyone else. More than Elon Musk and more than, I don't know, Edison Ray on TikTok. He is more active. Has a calm demeanor. He's a calm person. He doesn't get into fights or he doesn't shout or anything. He is faster than you, which is a phrase that became famous. I think the Aston Martin team or it was the McLaren team said that, you know, it doesn't matter how fast you are, Fernando is faster than you. He's employed. He has a contract until 2028 and probably will be prolonged. He will never retire. I think Formula One will retire, but Fernando, nah, he won't. We have the backfielders, the people that usually are on the back of the grid. They can get a bit higher, but usually they're on the back of the grid. We have Esteban Ocon, as I said, always gets penalty, and his problem is also Alpine. Pierre Gasly.
Pierre Gasly!
It's a lame joke, but Gasly, more like no gas me. He doesn't give gas. He doesn't put his foot on the accelerator to give gas and drive. And also his other problem is Alpine. We have Alex Albon, Williams, doesn't try. We have Zhou, kicks over. He's the first Chinese driver on the grid. He is a good driver. He's not a bad driver, but kicks over, I think, is punishing him in every way. We have Bottas. Bottas, when he was in Mercedes, he was a very good driver. But now in kicks over, he just gets DNF after DNF, either caused by someone else or because the car is faulty. The pit stops ruin him. If he doesn't get DNF, he will have a 1 minute pit stop. Sargent, the American guy, the freedom enthusiast. You know, the cheeseburger commissioner, and he somehow manages to be behind everyone. Even if we take Bottas out of DNF, put him in the race, Sargent will be behind Bottas, and Sargent also in Williams. We have Magnussen, Haas, too friendly and probably too old. You know, usually they inform him on the radio that, you know, another driver wants to overtake you, and he just lets them do their job, you know, no problem. And we have Lance Stroll, everyone's problem. You know, we have George Russell and Lance Stroll. They have the most crashes. George Russell crashes into the wall, not into someone else. But Lance is just crashing into every possible driver. And the worst thing is he blames them for the crash. I think that is the worst thing. Takeaways: Formula One is the best sport ever known to mankind. Better than gladiators in the Colosseum going at each other and defeating lions. They are the most high performance athletes.
Is that real sweat?
It's real sweat. I'm a high performance athlete. Athletes sweat. Sweat, baby. Sweat, sweat.
Memes are great. We have the Dutch guy always winning. We have the smooth operator. And we have a rookie that never retired. As always, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more content like this.
What's happened with Max?
Nothing, just an incident on the race.